It is such a pleasure to be able to be in your company this morning. Uh, I am truly, really excited. Just, uh, just taking a little bit of a time here to kind of allow everybody to join us. Uh, Again, it is such a pleasure today. Um, Hello, 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Hello, 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 hello. 1 2 1 2. Hello, 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 hello. All right. I want to kickstart here. We're going to start this presentation. Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be in your company this morning, but also an honor to have the privilege to present or having a conversation with you. I know it's sure you've made a decision to be part of this presentation out of your busy day, and I am going to respect that in the best way I can. So I'm going to kind of think of this presentation as a fast food. When you go to a fast food, you're expecting to get a quick meal, just to attend to particular basic needs that you have at the time. You're hungry, you don't have time to cook. So this is what we're doing here. And in addition to this, by weekend, I will publish additional. I'll have another video which is details, providing more detailed information of what has been packed here. So you think of that second video that will be in YouTube at Awaken channel will be like going to a restaurant somewhere more nice, a dining restaurant. Here we're doing a fast food because it's early in the day, and I chose this time, knowing that for those who are you're working from home, you might be able to sneak in half an hour of your time for this quick meeting. So I'm going to respect that, and let's get going quick. The topic of today is Uncoil Your Potential. The reason I titled that, it is a very, I like to use words the best way I can to address something specific. And today we're going to focus on how to uncoil that which is coiled within you, because it is my belief and my experience that in each one of us, there is something within that has been coiled up. And that something is the desire to be better than the best we've ever been. And that desire could be in any other area of your life. Some of you might be very successful professionally, but socially you are struggling. You are very successfully as an expert, but you are struggling in your relationship, in your personal relationship. You might be successfully in as an athlete or as an artist, as a specialist of a particular area, but you're struggling in other areas. And we see this thing playing out very well every day in our eyes. We have famous people, as we call them, or artists who are very successful in their art. Uh, Talk about sports people who are very successful in the area of the sports they play. But on the other hand, some disappointing and unimaginable conduct emerged from them. We hear a story about what they've done, who they have treated how, and all of those stuff. And that tells us that the struggle is not only for them, but it's for each and every one of us. Where we might be successful in an area, we might be doing well in one area, but there's another area that requires or calls for improvement. And the purpose of this message is to be able, you are the determinant factor, you are the referee, the judge of what area in your life require that type of improvement and how far you want to go. So thank you for those who are joining me now. um, Again, it's such a pleasure and an honor, and I look forward to see that you are going to receive something that is consumable, but it's a quick meal. That's how we are going to address it today. That being said, I'm going to jump in, dive straight to our topic today. Uncoil your potential. Let's uncoil it. Let's make it work. Again, Alpha Mshihiri. I am a host of a podcast called I Am Awaken. This podcast, you can find it by the end of this week. It will be available in all areas where you get the podcast. But not only that, it will be available in all areas you get your podcast. Please check us, and we have a Facebook page, as well as LinkedIn page and YouTube channel. So you can find, I'm going to be adding a lot of content in YouTube channel. So as of end of this week, like I said, on the weekend, you can binge on some of the program that I'll put. This streaming will be there, along with additional ones that will be explaining this content in a little bit more detail. As of now, everything is free. You don't have to worry about it. Feed yourself in, enjoy it. All I'm asking is like our YouTube page, subscribe to it, give a thumbs up if you find something. Feel free to comment so I can be able to improve that which I provide or share with you. So, thank you again. Let's keep going. The term I use the term uncoiled based on the concept of a coil. Most of you know something is coiled. You go to a handy store, to like a Menards, Home Depots, and any store that sells hardware or hardware stores. You're gonna find these things called spring, or you'll find a wire. Most of the time, when you buy even a wire for your home, extension cable, it will be coiled up in a little box for storage. Guess what? When that little thing is coiled up, inside it is power, is packed by power that or energy that is ready to be used. When you get home, the moment you open that little pack, it's just uncoiled itself, ready to be used. And sometimes you will find it very difficult to put that package back together, to put that cable or that wire back in its original coiled form that you found from the store, because there was so much energy that was packed in that space that now it has an opportunity to express itself and be useful in a natural manner. So I look at a coil as a misnomer of something. A wire is coiled, it's not it's in its normal state. When a wire is uncoiled, as we see here, you have a coiled and uncoiled wire. The wire in a normal state, it remains straight. Funny enough, actually, when I was actually researching this thing, I went and looked at the science of wires and learned that a wire that is coiled, even your regular extension cord at home, if it is coiled, guess what? You are losing a lot of energy. There is resistance that is built as a result of the fact that it is coiled. And that resistance forces that wire to pull so much energy from your socket in order to deliver the amount of power that you are going to be using that is needed to be in that little socket, in that extension cord, so that it can power whatever it is plugged into. Even in a wire technology, in the science of wire, that coil is an issue. So imagine in your own life, so you if you are coiled up, you too are actually going to face the same challenges. You are not efficient. To be coiled up is to actually bubble up inside. You desire to be something. When I meant coiled, you desire something. There is a desire in your heart. You have this urge that calls you to be, to do something. And as a result, because you, for whatever reason that is going on in your life, you are feeling that you are not capable. You're feeling that you cannot do that, and because you're not feeling, you are coiled up that desire. You are coiled in. And by coiled in, you're actually creating energy that is waiting to be exposed. That desire is a pure form of energy that is sitting inside of you, eh, seeking, knocking, asking for attention. And that will create so many issues in our life, whether we act out in public, our behavior become erratic, irrational in some areas, we become we perform in an efficient way, just as I've explained in a coiled and an uncoiled wire. So today, the goal is to help you uncoil that which is coiled within you, that desire. How do you coil it? How do you make it straight so that you can become efficient in each and every area of your life? Whether it is a relationship area, whether it is financial area, whether it is professional area, whatever the area is, the goal is to actually help you straighten it out in a way that you become efficient and you can enjoy life in a more meaningful way. It is not for the wealthy, it is not for the privileged, as we call that life should be of a certain way. It is for those who are awakened, meaning that they are familiar of themselves, they understand the rules of the law, the laws of engagement. And I believe there is what I call the art and science of living. And today we're going to go, I kind of like said, we're going to dive into some of that a little bit. So, this potential energy, what is it? That which you coil within you, it is a potential energy. And science tells us potential energy is that which is stored and awaiting to be used later. In a coiled state, there lies a potential energy within you. Your desire to become that which you want. It might be as small as I wanted to drink water because I'm thirsty. That desire to drink water because I'm thirsty, it is a potential energy. If it is not acted upon, it actually, I will suffer the consequences of not doing so. That's what it means here. So anything as simple as drinking water, as simple as hunger. I am hungry, but I'm not going to eat. Guess what? If I persist in that journey of not consuming something that I desire to have, eventually I am going to suffer the consequences because that energy have to be expressed. That desire have to be expressed. So if you are suffering financial challenges, if you have a relationship that is not going well, but you don't know how to manage it, eventually it will erupt. Just like if a person who doesn't drink water might collapse out and suffer, I mean, go through this idea that will be thirsty and be dehydrated. A person who doesn't eat will suffer from hunger, and the list goes on. And some forms of expression will come out of diseases. Diseases simply means dis-ease. You are not at ease in your body. Think of it. Diseases is a word we use all the time, but its birth, it comes from this ability of not being at ease with yourself. First, we become not at ease with ourselves in our mind, and eventually that uneasement continue to grow and it inflict our body in some form and fashion. And we say, oh, it's a DNA, or it is the fruit that I ate, or it's the food I ate. But guess what? As somebody who have a similar DNA like yours, and not in terms of exactly like DNA are different for each and every person, but they have the same kind of the element of DNAs, but they're fine. There's somebody who's eating the same food you ate, but they're still healthy. There's some who's doing exactly what you are doing, and they're still walking and have no problem. So at the end of the day, if somebody else can do it and they don't suffer the consequences of it, there must be more than the thing that they're doing. So it's not the food, it is not this or it's not that. It's not the people. I call people, look within yourself. And that's where we come to this idea of this potential energy. Like I said earlier, and the topic of this is to uncoil. But like anything else, if you play sports at some point in your life, if you practice a particular professional, in order for you to become efficient in that area of professionalism, guess what? You have to undergo such a particular form of education. They will give you tools. And tools, and some of these things is things that we do every day in life. But tools comes to help us to arrange these things in a particular form and fashion in order to help us execute them better. So most of the things probably I'm going to talk about to you with today is things that you're already doing it, but you have not been doing it in a particular form or recognize that there is a formula behind it. When I stumble upon this understanding, it was through my personal struggle, my personal journey. But some of the things I had done in certain circumstances of my life by accident, or it was just I felt inclined to do. I just acted out of instinct and I did things in a certain way. But I could not repeat that process because I didn't know that my result was a result of a particular way I did that thing. I will give you a very simple example here, quick. Growing up in my house, I grew up in a house that there was only one mirror in the house. We were a middle income family at the time, but yet mirror was not something that you find everywhere. I grew up in Tanzania, which is in East Africa, in the city of Dar es Salaam, city of peace. Dar means peace. Dar means city. Salam means peace. So I grew up in that city, but in our house, we didn't have a mirror. So guess what? I spend a lot of my time when I come from school. My parents' bedroom had a mirror, but by the time I come from school, neither my dad nor my mom was at home. At that time, only there will be we had house girls and house boys. Today here you call maids. However, it's a different name, but the functionality they perform the same function. So we had two house girls and two house boys at the time. But I knew where my parents hid the key. So I will go in, take the key, and use that mirror as my prop stage. I will stand there and learn and speak English to myself, imagining I'm actually walking in the streets of United States. Actually gave me great satisfaction. I was just young. Why was I doing that? I have no idea. But I did it for some time. And eventually I grew out of it and I stopped and I forgot. Based on our income, my dad had two wives. So I had a brother who was older than me, 1 year older. I was the second born from my dad's side, which but I was first born from my mom's side, and I had a sister who was a few months younger than me. So if my dad had to take us to school, maybe send us to the United States to study or anywhere outside Tanzania, that means within a short period of time he had enough money to support three kids, which was very difficult despite being the middle income family. Today, imagine if you're a middle income family here in the United States and you have to support three kids to college. It is very difficult. If it wasn't for the credit cards and loans, it would be possible to do that. But that time in Tanzania, there were no loans. You couldn't get loan. So guess what? Under that circumstances, my life would have been, one could say, I could not have been able to come to United States, which I accepted. But remember, I spent so much time creating this imaginary place I used to go in United States. I didn't have a particular city, but I would walk in the streets and people will communicate back to me more, very, very friendly. I didn't know anything about racism then, but in my imaginary act, I was having a very cordial and very friendly conversation with people. And guess what? Circumstances happen in a way that I could not have created them. I could not have planned a single act, but things happened that led me to find myself in the United States. And to my surprise, those as I was walking in some streets of city of Minneapolis, Richfield in Minnesota here, I found myself hearing that conversation I heard when I was a kid. One would say coincidence. I would say to that person, because you have not been educated or informed of this power of your mind, how you can uncoil your life. Your desire, just like my desire when I was a kid, I played a role, I practiced it. It was coiled up within me. But when I did it for so long, I uncoiled it slowly. And you're going to learn through this process how to do that. After I uncoiled it slowly, guess what? It had to express itself in a very scientific manner without me being able to put my effort, without me struggle. I did not struggle for it. I did not pay for my tickets to come to United States. It was paid for. Something that my dad could not have afforded at that time. When I needed money to pay for college, people were able to come in and help to make that possible. So my parents did not spend so much time and effort to help me that because it was something that it was difficult for them to do based on a financial situation. So my circumstances told me no, but I was able to uncoil that desire that was packed between because it comes in a packed form, just like you buy a cable in the store from the store. It is packed, coiled up. It needs to be unpacked in order to to be used. And this is what we're doing here today. You're going to learn how to unpack. And I've put two methodology of how to do that. One of them is this idea called Kundalini. And I apologize. I see that my this slide, the word I or the letter I is not shown. Next time, I'll make sure that I review it over and over. It is there on my slide, but when I display it in this distribution channel, somehow it keeps the eye out. It's technology. I'm going to figure it out at some point. So bear with me, and thank you very much for that. But one of the technique that I introduce here on how to uncoil your package. You have a package in you. Need to be it is there because it want to be used. It need to be expressed in your life. So we're going to learn how to unpack that package. Just like when you go to Target or any other stores, you buy that package good. Sometimes some packages you have to open them carefully, otherwise you're going to break it, or otherwise you're going to tear in some area that you shouldn't, and otherwise you're going to damage it. And most of us, like it was for me, I did not know how to unpack or uncoil that package. And because I had not have that knowledge, I end up doing it in the wrong way. And in that doing, I faced one of the most painful experience in life anyone can have. There are many painful, don't worry, but it's one of. I would not even wish on my worst enemy to experience that because it's not a pleasant experience, neither is not worthy of it. I've had many people telling me that, oh, you had to go through that so that you can learn what you have learned. Look at what you have become. I would say I could have learned that without going through that pain if somebody had taken time to teach me, if somebody had taken time to warn me. So there is a story in one of the book called the book of the Bible. I think it's in the New Testament, where we're told of a king who lived very lavishly when he was on earth. But he had one poor person who was sitting on his gate every day. He fed him garbage. The food he fed the dogs better food, I think, than he fed this poor person who was a beggar who was outside the door. But time passed by and the person died. And it is said that when he was in heaven, he was sitting in a place where it was so dry and he was so thirsty. And he could see that poor beggar that who was standing or eating at his door, living lavishly in another area. He didn't even have enough water. And he asked and said, "Can I go back on earth so I can warn people of what is it is here so they will not do what I did?" And the answer he was told, guess what? You cannot go back. There are already prophets on earth that they're those people you want to go and tell your family, you want to warn them, they are warned every day. They won't even listen. If they're not listening to those prophets, they won't even listen to you. I have gone to hell and it is my mission. Luckily, I have returned alive. I've gone to hell, I've returned alive, but in that journey, I've learned a thing or two. And I am taking this time to share with you that you do not have to go through hell as I've gone. My hell might have been different than yours. Guess what? You don't even have to go through that which is yours. Because if you apply these simple principles, your life will be transformed. You will not have to suffer that pain. You will not have to struggle in the way that you are. You will not have to have the challenges that you're facing and not have the wisdom to solve them without stressing yourself. Life is about experience. The question is what type of experience you choose to have in each and every circumstances you're facing. That being said, in a pilgrimage called Kundalini, and I use the word inner. You're going to a pilgrimage, but within yourself. Today, there's many traditions, people go to pilgrimage in other countries. They go to Jerusalem, to go to Mecca, and they go to other places. They're going to this journey. But there was one place they are not going, their inner self. They are not going to pilgrimage in their inner self. My goal is to help you so that you can be able to go to pilgrimage within yourself. And Kundalini is one of those ancient traditions. Today it has been westernized, so we hear, maybe you might have heard of it. And if you haven't, I'm going to give you a little bit background of it. But Kundalini is believed to be an inner latent power, spiritual power that is within us. Just like that coil I explained earlier. It is packed within you, and that's Kundalini is what it's about. It resides within us. In each and every one of us, the ancient Hindus believed in this. And the assumption that this energy is coiled like snake, so that's where it's getting his name, Kundalini, coiled like snake. And I've picked two stories or two method of being able to uncoil yourself, but that they're showing the similarity, and they're coming from two different traditions of the ancient tradition, but it gives us this idea that we are all one, no matter where we come from, no matter how far of the part of the world we're coming from. We have the same concept to live life in a better way, to experience life more enjoyable than we are doing today. And in doing so, we've developed different techniques to arrive there. And Kundalini is one of those techniques was we developed them, even though today it has been prostituted, in a sense, if I use the word, because it is misused. It is not used in its intended form. And today here we'll learn about that intent. Uh, the concept of Kundalini was born in the region of Upanishads in India, and hence it's a Hindu tradition, even though it has been more traditional. Probably there's more practitioner of yoga Kundalini in the Western world than probably in India today. But it was born by these sage called rishis. They were in a pursuit of personal development, freedom, personal development. They wanted to express themselves in life in a manner that they choose to be so. They didn't believe that they are living in this world. They were destined to be in a certain way. They were destined to live life more freely every single day. That is their pursuit. That was the belief of their pursuit that governed their pursuit, if I have to put it in the right order. Today, there's a lot of practitioner of this particular Kundalini yoga, and still there is that belief among many of these that Kundalini, this energy called Kundalini, it resides dormant or latent in the base of your spine. And it is a journey that a practitioner of Kundalini undertake to awaken this energy so that they can arrive to a state of blissfulness. It's interesting. Complicated it might seem, but the concept is very interesting. As you can see here, there's a lot of yoga postures that has been promoted, spoken about, taught. You can do this, you can stretch that, and it is beautiful for the body. I've practiced yoga. It's a very interesting, the physical yoga, where you do all this stretch and strength and tension. And it's a beautiful, you feel amazing when you're done doing it. Actually, I used to sweat more doing yoga than I used to do cardio. It's very interesting because it takes a lot of strength. It's about strength. And so these postures that have been seen as the center of yoga, especially in Kundalini, it is because I use the word prostituted or misused. Prostitute is something that is being misused. So the actual meaning behind the posture symbolizes one's ability to reign over his or her body. Your ability to reign on your body is what yoga, those postures symbolizes. It's not about, yes, in doing so, in demonstrating that ability, you gain strength of the muscles. But first, it was the issue of the mind, where you actually trying to build your mind to reign over your body. And that's what the belief of these rishis began, that in order to transform, to transcend yourself beyond that which you are experiencing today, you have to be a master of your body. And master of your body doesn't mean you gotta go and fast for these days. You don't mean you gotta go to live in a mountain somewhere. It was all on the mind. No matter where you are, you should be able to control your body. And your body symbolizes your environment. You have to be able to control your environment. In a sense, don't allow your environment to influence you. I see a person walking in a certain manner, and all of a sudden, because I don't like that type of walk, I am agitated. I am pissed off. And that person throws my mood. I don't know the person from Adam to Eve, but yet I get frustrated or agitated because of the way the person walk. I'm in a restaurant, I'm eating food, and somebody is eating food in a certain way. They're enjoying in the manner that they know best. And for me, looking at them, they're eating, and I'm like, start discussing them in my mind. Look at them. They think, well, look, why they're not even ashamed. They should eat better. They should, and I'm start criticizing that person. And I am no longer eating or enjoying the environment that I paid for or called myself to be. So that is when we are allowing their environment to influence us. The idea of yoga is to actually have control of our environment through our body by being able to master it, by not allow the environment to influence how we feel, think. We have to always think and feel the way we choose. That is the meaning of the yoga postures. Not to demonstrate strength. Yes, in pursuit of that, strength will come. But the ultimate goal is to reign over your body. So that's the beginning of this pilgrimage journey. And once you have successfully mastered that, you've reigned over the body, you have to. The journey begins. The journey, it is inner journey. Even the control of the body it is done by the mind. In yoga, there's even in exercise, there's this thing, mind over body. Mind over body. Most people do just body exercise, but the best exercise is to do it by mind over the body. It's a very interesting concept. I have applied it. I've practiced a lot of these things, as you can see, but it's very interesting when you start working out or doing things using the same concept, mind over body. First, you think it, and you think it as you're doing it. So you become present. There's this idea, stay in the moment. You think it, again, as you think it, you do it in a thinking way. You are actively thinking as you're doing it. Anyway, let's return to our topic here. So the pilgrimage to this Kundalini, the inner journey. And again, I apologize. I see another mistake in this slide here. The word there is inner journey. For some reason, when it was created to a video, it did not bring all the words that were intended to be there. So you see the word says inner. It should actually the actual word is inner journey. This inner journey, once you have mastered the body, because you cannot begin the journey if you are allowing your environment to continue to disturb you. You will always bring your attention outwardly. There is a statement in the scriptures of the Christian Bible where the Jesus told the children, his disciples, if you want to pray, he said, first you have to enter the room and close the door. Not only enter the room, but close the door. That's the topic of another day. But it is another symbol that tells us that you have to excuse yourself from the disturbance that surrounds you, whether it's pain, whether it's lack of, whether it's noises from people, whether it's any other form of disturbance. You cannot go into this inner pilgrimage journey while you're paying attention to those things. Once you have removed your attention from those things, you can actually start the journey. And the Kundalini people or the doctrine believe that that journey begins at the base of your spine. And I will explain why that is a belief, that's the nation, or what symbolizes. And this base of the spine is called Muladhara in Hindu, which means root chakra. And the word chakra here is, we use this chakra word, but it simply means a center of spiritual power. This idea of center of spiritual power within each and every one of us, it is not only for the Hindus, the Christian practice it, whether they know it or not, but it is there. The element of the mind are taught in the Christianity Bible, but they might be not taught in the pulpit by the pastors and the teachers, but it's there in the Bible. The Jews, they have this concept of the chakra. The most of the other traditions, known religion, Buddhist, they have this. Islamic, they have it. They have different names for it, but it is simply the center of spiritual power or this element of the mind that we have to exercise or reign over in order to overcome certain areas of our lives. So this Muladhara root or chakra, root chakra, it signifies, it have the elements, what is called element of the earth, which actually that's what it signifies. It symbolizes the earth. And the earth in ancient mythology means your physical conditions or your lowest point of a particular area in your life. If you are a successful athlete, guess what? If you struggle in relationship, relationship is this lowest or the root chakra. That's where you're going to start there because that's where the package is. That's where the coil is. That package that we talked earlier. That's where it is. That problem, that issue, that challenge you're facing, that is what symbolizes this root chakra, an area of spiritual energy, an area where a potential resides. You have to start there. And once you start there, then you're going to take this journey and ascend to the state of blissfulness. And we'll talk about it. But again, remember, it begins with mind over body, control of it. And you have to recognize the challenge you're having. And there is where you start your journey. It's very interesting. Today we do it differently. But when you start thinking on how they were thinking of it, it makes perfect sense. And once you've started that, you're going to this ascension process. And remember, this Kundalini was seen as a snake who is laying dormant on the bottom. So the ascension process, as it's showing here in this picture, it means the snake is uncoiled now. Just like if you go and attack a snake, when they're sitting dormant, they are packed with energy and power. When you go and trying to attack them, they're ready to go. They will attack you. They will rise up and uncoil themselves so fast and hit you like you've never seen it before, unless you know how to deal with them and your reaction will be fast enough. And that's what is here we're seeing. It's a quick reaction that the snake is ascending up. and responding to that which, and this is what this inner energy is about, is ascension of that very power. You're ascending consciousness like the coiled wire to realize your potential in terms of its actual length. When you take a wire that is coiled, you stretch it, it reaches a particular length. In order to realize that length, you have to uncoil it. It is there. But when you stretch it, now you realize it. And that's what this is about here. How do you uncoil that which is coiled within you as your desire so that you can actually realize it in your life? And the Kundalini is telling us that you start from where the bottom of the problem itself. And to start at the bottom of the problem, as they're telling us, is to be aware of the problem. And the reason you start there, because within the problem lies a solution. Within a problem lies a solution. There is no problem that you're going to face that within it does not contain a solution. You ask me, you're crazy, Alpha, you might say, but this is think of this way. When you have you have problem in your relationship, guess what? Within that problem of in your relationship, there lies a solution. Having a meaningful relationship. If you have issues with finding a meaningful employment, within that issue, there is a solution, a gainful employment. Opposite of everything you're facing is the solution you're looking for. Often we see that is unattainable. That's why we do not pursue. No, that's why we don't even think of it. Yesterday, I'll just give a quick example again. Yesterday, I woke up and my left eye was hurting and it was swollen in some extent. So I said, man, my first reaction, my beautiful and sexy wife was like, wow, are you ready to do it tomorrow, this event? Because look at your eye. And I just smiled. And that would have been the normal reaction. But I had a desire to do this. I scheduled for it. I planned for it because I wanted to do it. I spent late nights preparing for it, studies and researching and putting together this event because it's my first event. So I wanted to at least make an effort for it because I didn't want to bring half-cooked meal. I want to bring the best I can. Tomorrow it will be better than today, but I wanted to bring the best I can at that moment as I'm doing today. Guess what? That was my desire. It's simple. I desire to do this presentation, but I had an eye that will cause me a problem. And if it's not treated or attended to, there's a chance that it could have actually be swollen much bigger. And it would have made it difficult for me to do this. So I said, I'm going to present this how to uncoil that potential within. And the potential within me was to have this presentation and make it successful. Guess what? I apply the same principle I'm teaching you here. And now, as I am talking to you, that swelling is gone and my eye feels just fine. That's the fact. My eyes feels just fine. And you might think maybe, is this guy telling the truth or not? Maybe he's just making up and all that stuff. But that's the truth. I just decided to bring this a little bit more. I apologize. I see this little shaky microphone. I don't know why it's doing that. Again, it's a technology issues. I'm going to learn better to do it next time. But you can see my eyes looking much better today. They are looking as if nothing happened. But yes, something had happened before. And I'm going to do it even bigger so you can see. Look, my eyes looks normal. But this one here, oops. Oh yeah, this one here. The point of my fingers is different from the screen. But this eye was swollen yesterday, much swollen. Maybe there is a little left today, but I had to go through the same process that I'm telling you today. I practice it and it changed my life. It changes my experience today. So that being said, that's the process of you ascending. You ascend and state of blissfulness. Today, a practitioner of yoga, they're looking for this state or euphoria. But really, state of blissfulness is the ability to achieve your goal. That ability to achieve your goal is actually what this sage were aspiring for, not the BS stuff that we see today or the things that people are pursuing after. a particular experience. They were looking actually for the fulfillment of every desire. If you have arrived to your goal, you're going to be in a state of blissfulness, a state of happiness. That's what they were actually teaching here. And that's what ascension, Kundalini ascension is. And most of you, because especially for my friends who are Christian, devoted, they might see this as, oh, this is paganist process. But this process is not paganist because it is in their Bible. In this Kundalini story, it is very similar. Actually, it is one of the same in the story of a fiery snake, fiery snake. For those who study the Bible or have idea of the Bible, if you go in the book of Numbers, and I apologize again, I think it's there. I can see that it's showing in my screen. In the book of Number, verse 21, I mean, chapter 21, verse 4 to 9, I believe, there is this story of the children of Israel. They went through the wilderness, and as they took this journey, they saw a lot of victory. But it's wilderness. We imagine you're walking in wilderness, wandering around, not getting where you're going. And they started being complaining. And as a result of those complaining, God was offended and got angry. It doesn't say that. I'm exaggerating statements. So don't quote me. Don't say that's which Bible I'm reading, but that's what happened. God got angry and sent a fiery snake who went and attacked many of the Israelites. And in the story goes, many died as a result of it. It is very interesting. This is the God we call the loving God, the Father who is the most fatherly than any father in this earth. I will not send snakes to beat my kids. I will not send harm before my kids, no matter what they've done against me. And I am not a perfect father, but I love them so dearly that I will give my life if I have to, so that they may have their life. That's a fact. I'm not making it. But that's the love of the Father. So, especially an informed father. I might have done differently maybe when if I was uninformed, but today I'm well informed. So I'm expressing my love in a different way to my children. But having known that, I would not cause harm to them. Actually, I would do whatever I can within my power to help them become better. So there is more to this story than what actually we read every day. I'm not trying to be a condescending or saying this is the wrong, whatever the case. It's a true story, but not in a manner that many have perceived it. It's a symbolic story. It informs us, it teaches us using pictures and imagery. And this imagery is presented, it is trying to explain that which is not seen using the words and language by borrowing from the elements of our world. That's a topic of another day. But in this particular case, we are told that it was a snake, the same snake that is sitting dormant in Kundalini mythology. There is a snake here who goes out and beat other people and cause harm, and some of them died. And people say, "Oh, they died." Death in the mythology means something different than death we see every day. If you do not have that which you desire, guess what? You have died from the desire. You are dead from that which you desire, and you live from the undesirable. To live is to be in the existence of. So if you want health and you eventually attain health, then you are living in the state of health. But to want health because you are sick and not attaining health, guess what? You are dead to health, but you are alive to sickness. That's the meaning of it. So if you want wealth because you're financially strapped, to be without, to continue to live without that financial success or financial freedom is to say that you are dead to financial freedom because you're not living in it. So you are as good as dead. But guess what? You are still alive into financial, into poverty. That's what it actually is. So those who were bit by that snake died. And a snake, we're told, is a deceiver. He deceives people. He deceived Adam and Eve, we're told in this story. So he have been given this name called deceiver. And funny enough, in the idea or mythology of Kundalini, there is this idea that this Kundalini is associated with a goddess called Kubijika. Kubijika, which means crooked one whose embodiment of the earth. A snake will told who is going to crawl on his belly on earth, which signify again your conditions. Remember what we started earlier. It signifies your conditions, your surrounding, your lowest point in life. That's the earth. That's the snake. That thing comes to you as a snake to deceive you, to tell you that that's what is for you, that you should have it. You cannot have any better than that. That's deception because you can have better than that. Because we're talking about how to uncoil it. So if you are told that you cannot uncoil it, if you buy a package from a store here, from a store that is coiled and packed up tightly packed, and you take it home and put in your desk, it will not function to what you wanted. You buy clothes from Amazon and it comes in a package and you put it in your closet, it will never wear itself up in your body. You have to open it. But if you had somebody tell you cannot open it and you choose not to open it, you will never see the benefit of it. So that person who told you that you cannot open have deceived you. And that's what it means here. It's the snake here signify the deception, that ability where you are deceived as if you do not have. So we are told those who bite on that idea, those who consume or believe it to be so, they will die. That means they will never experience life the way they wanted to experience. So today, if you buy into this idea life is difficult in the United States, you will never see freedom in the United States. We were having a quick meeting with a friend, my wife's friend, one of these days, the other day, and the guy, the first thing he told us is how America is going down, how America is become terrible. And it's true, there is events that tells us that things are getting challenging. Guess what? The challenge that you see today, yeah, the challenge has always been there. It is now because of the technology they are made visible before our eyes every day. The question is, if you choose to pay attention to those things, you will get bitten by that snake, and you will see life from that point of view, and you will always live in this state of anxiousness. I could see in my wife's friends when we were sitting, he's in state of anxiousness, and he talks about how much money he's been losing and everything else. I can't fathom to lose over a quarter of a million. This guy lost over a quarter of a million, and he continued to lose. Guess what? Is that state of anxiousness that's not going to give him peace because that's what he's consuming and he is beaten by that state. And that's what symbolizes here in the snake. Just like in the story of Kundalini, on mythology of Kundalini. If you let that snake sit in your bottom of your spine, you will never realize the fruits that you want to realize. And here, we're just told it in a different way. If you pay attention to the things that you do not want, you will be beaten and you will die, which means you will not live to see a day that you would have had that which you desire. If it's marriage, if it's relationship, financial freedom, you will continue to be in this constant perpetual state. Today, most of you, if you look at your life today and picture it carefully, you might be surprised to notice that it was the same as last year at this time. Yet that you face the same challenges. You are always in a rush. You are always on the edge. Things were almost about where they were about to break and everything else. But you have to change that. We have to transform ourselves. And that's what this is about. And as in Kundalini, we're told to raise our awareness, to raise that snake in the opposite direction, meaning that you have to think opposite of that which you want. In the serpent story, we're told two things. Moses was instructed to do two things. First, to make a snake, a serpent, out of a bronze. Some scripture says brass and bronze. I've learned that they're almost the same thing, but just different alloys that are added into it. One is made of only zinc, another one is a combination of zinc and another thing. So I'm not going to go into the science of what makes bronze and what makes brass, but they're almost the same thing because the main ingredient is the same. It's just adding a little bit of alloys there to give it different texture and feelings. But the concept remains. Here is the trick. Here is the technique now. You know that to look at your conditions, to pay attention, to continue to agitate or to continue to be gravitated toward it, you're going to get bitten. That snake, that deception will consume your life and create a point of view in your life. So you can start seeing life from that point of view and you will suffer the consequences. And therefore, you will never have the peace of mind that you would have had if you did not entertain that. I mentioned about the struggle that I went through. If I did not, I was not obsessed by that state of mind, I would not have gone through the challenges I went through. I would not have put my lovely and beloved family, that people I care and appreciate them in every way, through that pain. And therefore, I would have enjoyed the fruit of being free from that problem long before. But because of ignorance on my part at the time, I didn't know how to do that. And then eventually I suffer the consequences. And guess what? Those who were dear to me paid the price as well. Today, people are paying the price in your life because you have been stubbornly not willing to change. But you did so because you had no knowledge. This information informs you otherwise. And it's up to you to take that challenge to heart. But we're told in this technique, as I explained in the Kundalini, this technique we're told he made a snake out of bronze and put in a stick and lifted up. And the key word here, those who looked up to that snake, they were healed. A snake, in both mythology, a snake plays two characters. Even that goddess I mentioned earlier, Kubijika, plays both roles. It is both crooked and very influential, very blessing. The goddess reign over the earth and other things. But so it is this snake idea of a snake. We are seeing it in both mythology, presenting two qualities. One, the lowest quality, and the other, the highest quality. And based on the quality you entertain, you will get the results accordingly. And in this case, in this story, the technique is it's the same techniques. Raise the Kundalini above to the awareness of that which you want. Pay attention to the thing you want, and the thing you want, if it occupies your mind, then it will produce the result. And here Moses raised the snake, and those who look up, guess what? In the mythology way, to look is to think, is to focus. So if you focus on the highest level of your problem, the highest level is its solution. So if you focus on that, we're told those who were beaten were made well, they were made whole. So today, the technique is just like I explained the idea of my eye. I had that struggle, I saw that, so I was beaten. And I saw that my eye was swollen, and actually, when I was blinking, it would hurt because there was like something poking inside the eyelid, the bottom side of it. And all I did is I took the time. My wife said, "Go and rest." And I went and actually, as I lay down on bed and meditate and focus on health, I kept telling myself, it is wonderful that my eye is healed. And in my mind picture, I would blink it and I will imagine that I am no longer feeling that scratchy pain. And I did it for about 2 hours. I lay down for about 2 hours. I woke up. I went ahead and continued to prepare for this presentation. And today I woke up in the morning feeling just as healthy as I can ever be. My eye problem is gone. I was able to take that serpent out of bronze and I stuck it and I paid attention to it. I rose in awareness, or I raised my awareness to the level of the thing that gives me blissfulness, gives me pleasure, brings happiness to me. And the funny thing, bronze means truth, spiritual truth. So you have to raise to the truth, the inner truth. That's what it means. The feeling of being that which you want. That's the level of awareness you're asked to be right to rise. And in doing so, you have coiled yourself. You have stretched that wire to its maximum capacity. So we're going to get to this practical application. And again, I see another error here. I'm a rookie of this, as you can see. Practical application. The title have dropped down to cover some of the words. In an actual presentation, that is not the case. But when I made it to a video, I guess it compressed some of the words, and that's the result of it. Next time, you will not see that. I'll make the correction of it. Maybe I will re-upload this video on YouTube with these corrections if it's doable. I'll figure that out. But anyway, practical application of this. science tells us, remember, we're talking about this potential energy. I'm just dealing with, I want to use the common words here. Potential energies, that's the key. The desire to be better than the best is the potential energy here. And people will say that's your savior, that's your spirit, that's the word. There's many ways that you can describe, but I'm going to go to practicality. So potential energy is the key, and science have a formula for potential energy. It's include your potential energy is equal to mass multiply acceleration, which is due to gravity, and height. Whatever the height the issue, you have to figure out the gravity level, the gravity within it, and the mass. How big? What's the size? What that thing contain? But in this practical way, how do we use this formula? Mass, I use the word, is your condition. That your lowest point in life, that which you do not desire to have. Sickness, poverty, unemployment, insufficient financial insufficient. And gravity is your habits, and not habits you do every day. It's your mental habit. What you are always thinking, what you are always picturing. What is it in your mind that is happening frequently? That's the habit I'm referring to. And height is your desire to become. Some of it, people might say, my desire is too big. If it's not big, then it's not something you should desire. Every desire have to be bigger than the things you're facing. That's the point here. We're seeing in the fiery serpent story, where the stick was raised way above the ground. We're seeing in the technique of Kundalini, you have to uncoil that snake all the way on top of your head. So the level, the height has always have to be higher than the base. In both of the story that we've seen, in both of the technique that we've learned here. So if these three things, your conditions, if you pay attention to your conditions, if you continue to reside in your habit, and if you continue to think that what you're desiring you do not have, I guarantee you, you will remain in your situation. You will always be where you are. You will never go further than that. Intensity is the secret. If you intensify the opposite, meaning you assume that you have, you build new habits, and you feel that you are that which you want to be, you're actually going to overcome. That's how you rise above. Just like I gave an example in my story with the eye issue, and there's many story I will be telling in the full-blown video. And I think I've gone a little over my time to a significant amount, but I just want to wrap this quick here. So that intensity is the key, and I will explain more on the longer video where you can get a more detail of this information. So use this technique, please. I encourage you. You are the driver. You are in control of your life, but the choice is yours. If you are happy with your life, no one can tell you otherwise. But if you're looking for improvement, you're looking for freedom, you're looking for legway, for room to change. A friend of mine told me that she was looking to pivot her life. So if you're looking to, I'm going to borrow her words. It's a very good friend of mine. So if you are looking to pivot your life in a certain way, of providing with the tools, do not continue to be in the state you are and continue to hope that a savior will come and save you, because that savior is within you. That potential power, potential energy I refer to that, and I've provided with two methodologies on how to rise to the level, that how to uncoil yourself from that imprisonment that you have put yourself in, that you've allowed yourself to be there. You are self imprisoning yourself. If you are still seeing same problems in your life, something need to change. If you've been living life in the same way, something have to change. But you have to make a decision what that change is. That being said, I want to thank you very much, and I apologize for a little bit of a technical issues, and mishaps here and there, and for the length that you've taken. I was determined to make it at 30 minutes, but there was a much to talk about, and I had to kind of elaborate things a little bit more. So it took that time a little bit more, but I hope it was worth a while of your time. And for watching this at a different time, please, like I said, it's going to be in YouTube. Take your time to watch it there and enjoy it. That being said, I encourage you to take some time to follow up, follow us, like our post, like our. I postings every day in Facebook. I've been using it more often, but I'm going to start doing more of other things as well on YouTube. And my channel there is called I Am Awakened. So please take the time to go there, and there's a link here you can follow. But that's how you're going to find me there. And when you're there, please share what you find is interesting. Like it, subscribe to our channel. Help me to promote this awareness to others. Thank you very much, and I wish you a fabulous day. In Hindu, they say Namaste. So have a fabulous day, and again, thank you very much.